Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And hello, everybody, and welcome. Podlie Podcast, episode 107. Wow, the comment board is full already.
Holy
and we finished our intro. So Jamie's in first. Hello there,
crazy.
Jamie. Jamie gets the big, 3,500 points?
20. Whoa, wait, yo, hold the phone.
2,500
Keeps going up.
2,500 points.
And one.
That was feeling generous. Yeah, 2,501. Gets
2501.
2,501. Yeah, and then Jimmy came in second. Wow, you two together or something?
Yeah, you'd almost think.
You'd think they might be together or something, maybe
You
in the
almost
same
think.
room.
I have a
Yeah.
suspicion.
Marvin came in third with a howdy Podlies. Hello there, Marvin.
Hey, Marv.
Robert, good evening, gentlemen. Wow, are you here
Robert,
early, Marvin, or is it just
Robert?
me?
Hold on. Let me put me glasses on. Which Robert are we talking about?
Robert McMahon.
McMahon. Dude, it's about time you showed up. Unbelievable.
Yeah, seems to be
And
extra early.
And then there's Glenda. Hi, Glenda.
Glenda's here. Donna May's here.
Donna Moname.
Everybody's
Laura
Laura's here. You're all here. William James Kirkland, of course.
The
Have to say
man
his
with
full
the
name.
best title right there.
Well, he has the best
man with
first name
And the
Yeah,
best
he's-
handle right there. So,
Yeah,
best first name
James
too.
as well. Yeah, I agree totally with that as well.
Well,
Um,
only good people are named that. So,
oh, what are you saying about you and Paul?
well, no. I didn't say bad people named other things. I just said only good people are named that. Hey, it's all about syntax, young man.
just, just checking.
It's all about specificity, you know.
Yes, yes, the man who has his big sticks out tonight.
The big stick. Booyah.
Paul's just sitting there quietly. He hasn't said a word. You with us,
Yeah.
Paul? Or
No, I want to. Okay, so I got to send a shout out to Marv. Marvin.
Marv.
Marvin, Marvin this week, you know what he does? You know what he does? Marvin just, and this just brightened up my whole week. Marvin just says, he sends me a text and he says, thinking of you, buddy, and just sends a Star Wars meme. That's it. That's all he does. And that really, I just want to give a shout out to Marvin. Marvin, thanks a lot for that, buddy.
Cool.
Marvin, I would have been happy with that if you had have sent Paul a Star Trek meme.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that because it kind of was. It was in reference to Star Trek and Star Wars. So, but it was in reference to Han Solo, but there was also a Star Trek one in there too. So, thank
Deb.
you, Marvin, for thinking of me. I appreciate that.
Nice.
Hello,
Shout
Deborah.
out-
Jones.
Shout out to you, Marvin, and hi, Deb. Nice to see you. How
And
are
I just-
you? How are you?
How's the ankle there, Deb? For those that don't know, of course,
I was just
Deb
going to
had
ask.
another accident and broke her ankle, which is not a good thing. So it's good that you're tuned in. I'm sure you've got your leg up, and you're tuned into the Podlies tonight, Deb.
Well, we
And maybe
always like it
drinking-
when our friends have a leg up. I'm telling you, man.
and drinking some wine.
Because you got nowhere else to go, Deb.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's right. So how's your guys' week, Mr. Paul?
Yeah, Paulie.
Paul?
Yeah, and so we're here. That was my week. And so nothing. There's lots of hockey for my kid this week, though.
Oh yeah.
Lots of hockey. You know what? I'm going to give a shout out, and I want to give another shout out to my kid's music teacher, quite frankly. So Ja has completely taken with the ukulele.
Nice.
Completely in the last 2 weeks. So he's already in violin lessons. And I got to tell you, man, teachers are the bomb, man, because he's learning ukulele in his music class in school. He won't put this damn thing down. You know what? He reminds me of Lou Diamond Phillips and La Bamba. He takes it everywhere.
Awesome.
Like
Awesome.
it's
Hey,
awesome. So
Paulie.
shout out to my kid's music teacher,
There you go. Shout out to them. What school do they go to?
Maya Nook. Shout out to Mrs.
Oh.
Brooks. Yes.
Mayo
Nice.
Nook. Well, just down the road from Mayo Nook is Mayo Cumin.
Yes.
And Mayo Cumin is one of my schools. And it's funny because, okay, nobody knows this other than my inner circle at work. So you guys are the first to know, and anybody that sees it. When I first saw Mayo Cumin, I thought, what a great word. Like you guys know, right? I like words. Words kind of juice me. I like the sound of words and stuff like that. But the word Mayo Cumin sounded like a benediction of some sort, right? Like, you say, God bless you, or namaste or namaste. So at work, when I was first learning about the schools and all that type of stuff, I'm like, Meakumen.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of
For
funny.
some reason, it sounds like that. It sounds like a benediction to me. So in my
Yeah.
mind,
It does.
that's what this word was. I still haven't looked it up. I probably should.
Bill,
But
it's kind of
nonetheless.
weird. On our other show, when I sneezed, didn't you say Meakumen to me?
I think I did.
I'm
Oh.
pretty sure you did.
Isn't that
Yeah,
amazing? Seriously?
I'm pretty
That's
sure you
awesome.
did. Achoo, Meakumen.
Yeah, Kuman.
That's good. Meakumen.
Meakumen.
Yeah, cool.
So how's your
anyway,
week
yeah.
there, Cliff?
I was good. I managed to string together probably 4 or 5 really shitty days, but you know what? such as life, as they say, right?
Yeah.
But hey, listen, check it out. Still smiling,
Hey,
still grinning.
Cliff, guess what?
What?
There's more to come.
There's more to come, dude.
There's more
Exactly
shitty days
right.
to come.
Exactly right. Yeah. So yeah.
Good.
So yeah, I worked my ass off today. Didn't leave my computer basically, and got some good work done and all that
Nice.
sort of stuff. And yeah, kind of got out of the funk, so to speak. And here I am, as they say, as the good old Jar Jar Binks used to say, Misa back.
Misa Baka. And Deborah
Star
Hughesgar
Wars
says,
references coming, baby.
That's right.
Deb says, I'm on some real good medicine, no wine, foot up, ready to be entertained.
Oh,
So are
nice.
we entertaining?
In my world, the real good medicine is the wine, Deb.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
you know.
And by the way, I think it was Jimmy cleared up that he and Jamie are in the same room, but not the bedroom.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Get on it, Jimmy.
I
Get
was just
on
gonna
it.
say, but why?
Yeah.
And Jamie says daughter loves the ukulele. So the ukulele. What are you gonna have him learn somewhere over the rainbow first? Then
Oh man,
What a
Israel,
song.
come on,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's one
fantastic.
of my all-time favorite songs from one
Oh,
of my
man.
all-time favorite versions from one of my all-time favorite songs.
So
What a-
great.
He did
So
it.
great.
He did it in one take. He
Yeah.
did it in one take.
It's crazy, man. Just pure
Famous
talent.
story. Famous story. Israel, come on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Awesome.
talent, eh? And I mean,
Oh,
it's so cool. You
unbelievable.
take a song and you just totally just disregard everything that came before, right? And you just keep the melody. That's
Turn
it.
it on its head. Completely turn it on its head.
It's fantastic. I love it.
And
so good.
it's that's poetry. That's my favorite version. Oh, I just love it. Oh, just
Mhm.
love it. So,
Okay, William James Kirkland. I'm gonna have to take back some of the nice things I've said about him. You know, because he says he's sipping
because he
beer.
puts tomato juice in his beer. That's why
I
he's
know.
taking back
So that's
some
what I
of this
mean. So I can't take everything
Yeah.
away because he's drinking beer. So I got to take some
Yeah.
of the nice things away from him.
Yeah. Why do you put beer in your tomato juice, William? I've never understood that.
Dude, but why? But why?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Why, with in capital letters? Why, William? Why? Why are you taking that
Why?
perfectly good beer and throwing tomato juice in it?
Exactly. Like
Oh.
vegetables. It doesn't need vegetables.
I'm
Or is
not
that
drinking
fruit?
beer to get my vegetables.
Or is that fruit?
You drink beer to get the grains, William, not the vegetables, buddy. Not the
Exactly.
vegetables.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
So we've slammed you now, William. So we're all good. We can
Yeah.
move on from here.
Who do we slam next?
I don't know. That's fine.
Who's next?
Who's next? Come on, Laura. Give us an opportunity, please.
My contract specifies you don't slam me until the second half of the show. Thank you very much.
Oh, you
Okay,
have
well.
been reading your contract.
Yeah, I got it. I'm on it. I'm on it.
He's on it.
I'm
Yeah.
on it.
How many years has it been now since we've been doing this show?
I'm on it. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys have been in breach because I've always been slammed the first part of the show.
Ah, there you go. Oh no! And then he says, "Clement, okay, now I've taken away
Oh.
at least 85% of the good things I've said about you, dude.
Oh, William, you've taken a perfectly good beer, and
Unbelievable.
I can't. I'm lost for words. I can't.
I'm stunned, Bill. I'm stunned into unsilence. You know, because after all, this is life.
Yeah. I don't even know
It's
what.
Pilsner.
It's
William, get the hell off my podcast.
I don't even know what to
William,
say.
get the hell off our podcast.
So much so
No.
as I'm putting this up.
There you go. I like
The sound of crickets.
crickets. There we go. I like Pilsner. I just don't like all the
I
additives.
do not. I do not know.
I just don't like the additives.
You don't
So,
like
Bill.
Pilsner? Yes.
Well, how was your week?
Well, it was good until I saw what William was drinking. So,
Pilsner.
no, adding the tomato juice in. killed my
Well,
whole
he's
vibe.
drinking Pilsner. Now I know why he's adding the Clamato juice.
I like that. Hey, this is probably going to be William's last comment on this show.
Oh,
He was never going to talk to us again.
He's never going to talk to us again.
William, you're drinking pill. Get the hell off the podcast.
Yeah, but when we're trying to be entertaining, Deb said she needed to be entertained.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Deb says I'm so lucky with the current situation. Piano lessons will continue with live FaceTime. Well,
Oh,
Nice,
nice.
nice,
Cool.
nice.
So you're going to
Nice.
use the other leg for the pedal then, right? Just saying.
I would assume assume so. Laura says that Paul, she swears you used to put Clamato juice in beer.
I might have a couple of times, sure.
Okay, Paul.
And then he realized what a ridiculous
As a
concept it was, and
rule-
he stopped.
Paul,
As a rule,
what are you saying here?
I do not put clam in my beer as a rule, but yes, if you know what, clam and beer is usually a really good hangover thing for me. So Laura, if you saw me drinking clam and beer, it's probably because I was drinking straight tequila the night before. So,
Well, the only time any of that stuff enters is if it's a Caesar. Otherwise, none of that stuff enters the game.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
And then
you
see this right here. This is nice. This is beautiful pink because I bought it for my wife. But of course, it's nice. It's pink tonic,
yes.
and it's a thing of beauty. And of course, a couple of shots. There's always something in it. There has to be. I mean, what's the point in drinking tonic, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of shots of Bombay Sapphire and some
I
limes.
was just gonna say, have the tonic, so it must be the gin.
And oh boy, let me tell you, it's a drink and a half and a thing of beauty.
Love
And
it,
you
love it,
You
love
bought
it,
it
love
for
it.
your wife, and you're drinking it.
And he's
She is too. She is too.
Here, honey, this is for you. I'm just going to drink this.
She likes to share.
Oh my gosh.
Of course, I said something last week, and Leslie Ann jumped right in on me. So,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You said about the playing drums in the living room.
yeah,
He said Leslie wouldn't mind playing drums in the living
she
room.
didn't like that idea very much. So,
Yeah. Oh,
so-
Deb says the piano is downstairs, electric keyboard downstairs, no pedal. Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
nice.
Oh, speaking of Leslie Ann,
Oh no, I got to scroll down here because I was jumping up on the comments, looking at some old ones there. Leslie Ann, okay, but I also made another drink for your thirst.
yeah. See, we have a rule, right? Okay, boy, we're telling tales here. Let me tell you something. I'm not an alcoholic, I promise you. But I
Only
like
on Mondays.
I like straight stuff, right? Straight scotch or straight whiskey or whatever. I mean, you guys know that. Bill knows that.
Yeah.
But of course, I also like that, right? But the one I was actually teasing Leslie Ann, so she's going to pay for this. I was actually teasing her because one time I give her a shot of whiskey, and she's all of a sudden it was like, boom, gone, right? I'm like, Leslie Ann, you're not supposed to quench your thirst with you're not supposed to quench your thirst with whiskey, right?
I go run 5 kilometers, then I have a shot of whiskey because I'm thirsty.
Exactly. So
That was great. Let me go for another run.
I know. So guess what then? So she made me this drink, right? With the tonic and gin. But then of course at the same time, she brought plain soda, plain lime, and an empty glass so that I don't have to quench my thirst with alcohol.
Well, she's thinking ahead now. Yeah. Well done, Leslie Ann. I commend you on that.
So if I'm thirsty, I'm supposed to drink this. All right.
Too funny.
Oh man, you see how these things escalate, right? It starts out with some goofy things that happens,
Yeah.
and then it just escalates from there, right?
But
And I
it's
mean-
perfect though.
I know she didn't even drink the whiskey that fast. It's just that I was looking at it, and all of a sudden it was gone. I'm like, thirsty? Jeez. I'm like, you're not supposed to quench your thirst with
It's a hot
straight
day
whiskey.
outside. Need a drink. It's
Oh,
hot
man.
days.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right. So the one thing I threw out tonight was music, because we've been talking about music off and on quite a bit on this show, actually. So
Right.
then I thought, well, do you find listening to music can help you? Say if you're down in the dumps, do you use music as therapy? There are programs actually out there. My wife running a program that's one of them that does have music as part
Music
of their
therapy, yeah.
therapy for kids.
Right.
So I was just curious with you, Paul and Cliff, and all of our Podly viewers, what you guys think about that. I used to always, even as a kid, I would come home from school, throw on an album, do my homework, put headphones on, so it wouldn't bother my mom and dad. And for me, that was my therapy too. Like just throwing whatever, I'd pull an album out, put it on, and I'd play the whole thing. And
What was the album that got you straight A's, Bill?
that I don't remember. I never got straight A's, so it must not have been good.
and then my second question was, what was the album that got you F's, Bill? That was my second question.
Yeah, I was not a straight A student, so I think I spent more time listening to the music than I actually did doing my homework. That was probably the effect.
Yeah. What about you, Polly? Music guy with homework?
I find very funny. You know what I find very funny? In talking, I was thinking about this just 20 minutes. Bill and I were chatting off air before. You know what I find very funny is when I get really depressed, and and I've been known to do that, this, that, and the other thing. Why do people who get depressed listen to depressing music? Like,
well, I mean,
I'm so guilty of this, man. I am so guilty of this.
I am too. Other than the fact that I don't listen to country music, but really, other than that,
right.
But the fact of the matter is, Paulie, it makes sense because, I mean, it's all about companion. Okay. See, I can get very philosophical with this, right? Because it's all about companionship, right? The fact of the matter is, if you were really down in the dumps and a friend come up to you and says, "Hey, cheer up, man. Here, have some beer. Cheer up, man." Blah, blah, blah. Most of the time, it'll irritate the shit out of me. I would
100%.
Screw off, piss off, go away, F off, whatever words I would use, right? Because I don't need somebody to do that. What I need is somebody to just sit next to me and just sort of be there and just be company. And, maybe turn the TV on and gawk at the TV and be just as uneventful as I am. And I think often music in terms of that tends to be the commiserator, the companion, right? I'm not justifying it, right? Because technically we should think, hey, wait a minute, if we listen to some great music, we'll be up and we'll get out of this funk, right? But really, human nature says we want commiseration, we want understanding, right? So what happens is we listen to music and that person understands us. You listen to Kurt Cobain and he understands what the depths of freaking depression means.
Yeah.
Right?
So Deb says, misery loves company. 100%.
Yeah.
I always found it really funny though, because here's the thing. You one button, play, play, just one motion, and you can choose depressing music, you can choose happy music, and all of the time I go to the depressing music. I don't know why.
But Paulie, if somebody played the happy music though, would it irritate you, or would you be dragged along?
Yeah. No, and I get that. I understand. I just always found it very funny.
No, I think that's a very good question, and I've pondered that lots, and not thought about it for a number of years, but then when this topic came up, I was thinking about that as well. And the fact of the matter is, what moves me, and that's a little bit of a pun, I suppose. What moves me from one state into another with music is actually physical motion, right? So you put on something like Enigma, let's say. I don't know if you know the group Enigma. Enigma's a great group. They're a fantastic group. They got some of the best music in the world. And I could put an album on there. They had a greatest hits album called Love, Sensuality, and Devotion. Fantastic album. If you've not listened to that album lots, go do it. It's phenomenal. But that album is so cool because you can listen to it, sit and listen to it, and you cannot not move. You have to move. And that movement is what changes your state, your physiological state. Yep. And it's really awesome. So for me, it's not just music, it's movement.
So I'm very much not like that. I'm not like that at all. When I listen to music, I'm in the zone, and I'm actually trying not to move because I can actually concentrate on the music and concentrate on the bass line. And do you know what I mean?
It depends on the music, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
As you said, if you're talking about an emotional release, such as listening to sad music when you're sad or depressing music when you're depressing, blah, 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 I'm not listening to music for that, right? Yeah. But I tell you what, if I'm listening to a Paul Simon album and I'm listening to it for the joy of listening to it, then I'm like you, right? or I'll be picking out the guitar part. That's how I know some guitar parts of Simon,
Yeah.
because I've done exactly that, right?
Yeah, I'm really analytical, I think, you guys, with my music listening. Now, of course, there's different times. I just want to listen to an album just because I love them, this and the other thing. But I found that lately, and by lately, I mean the last probably year and a half, I've been really analytical with music, meaning I really want to find and feel that bass line. And I really want to know why they've put that, that cajon sound in the background or this, that, and the other thing. The bits. That's exactly right. And I'm really finding that I want to know why that is the way it is, right? So that's just how I am lately.
Lassen makes a really good point there. She says Mozart concertos for studying. It really is a remarkable study tool.
Well, it's not going to help me now. So,
and Marvin, Brothers in Arms, man, what an album!
Oh, what an album!
Great album.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I've listened to Brothers in Arms so many times, and all kinds of substances included, all kinds of lighting included, all kinds of states included, and that album is good at any level. It doesn't matter. And you know what? And I don't know if you guys know Telegraph Road. That album, which came pre Brothers in Arms, I believe, is absolutely fracking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. I can't even believe how good it is. Right? And just a couple, 2 days ago, I was listening, and I could put it on the Podlie podcast. I was listening to Knopfler and Emmylou Harris. They did an album together years ago. I didn't know about it.
Well,
I've been out of the music scene for a while. And there's a live performance with them, and then there's a live performance of Romeo and Juliet on Facebook, on YouTube. Wow, what a stunning performance, man! It's awesome.
Yeah, and I like Leslie Ann's comment here, and this is she goes, "You're feeling in caps the music when it literally moves you."
There we go.
So yeah. When you start moving to the music, then obviously it has moved you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like you guys as well. When I'm listening to a tune with headphones on or whatever, I'm listening to every single part. I want to hear the guitar part. I want to hear the rhythm guitar. I want to hear the lead. I want to hear the bass line. I want to hear the keyboard. I want to hear the drums. And I'm listening to every single instrument, to what's coming out of that instrument and how's it combining within that song. So,
because here's the thing, I've been really blessed in the last 20 years, not only to be privy to listening to music, but I've also been part of making music. And I've been in the studio. I've been really fortunate to have been part of making music and this, that, and the other thing. And I got to be honest with you guys. You asked me 25 years ago, and I just want to listen to music just because it makes me feel this, that, or the. But now, man, I just the process of music it's so cerebral. I absolutely love it, and I love the process. I love the little atom of an idea, and then it bounces off, your drummer, or it bounces off the producer, and then it comes into I love it. And oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Podlie, one of the most recognizable drum beats in all the world is probably the beginning of 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. All right. That song, it's probably the most recognizable drum tune. The moment you hear it, you go, I like it. I know that song, blah, 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 even if you know nothing about the group. And you know where that came from? You talk about bouncing off each other. Buddy, my favorite drummer in the world, Steve Gadd, he was in the studio and everybody else was doing their stuff. And he was basically checking out his kit. And he was just fooling around. He was playing this beat, right? And it's just fooling around on the drum set. And the producer, Roy Halley, a sharp mind, Roy Halley goes, what is that? What is that?
What is that?
And Stevie Gadd is like, oh, it's just this right here, right? And that became the beginning to probably one of the most recognizable drum beats for the beginning of a song in history, right? And Steve Gadd's been on over 6,000, get this, 6,000 studio albums. He's played in 6,000 albums in some song or another. All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it comes from that. It comes from a little practice. It comes from a little. He was practicing his roles and blah blah blah. And before you know it, somebody picks up on it.
Just a little
you get
grain. That's all
Just
you
a
need.
little grain, right? Rolling Stones used to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's his name again? What's his name now? Richards. He's been around since the 17th century. Yeah,
Richards, he's like 500 years old. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. He'd just be on the tour bus noodling around, right? You know,
That's
Oh,
it.
there's-
and Jagger would start singing, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's how
there's-
AC/DC got all their riffs, right? They're just
And
noodling.
there's a great documentary on Keith Richards,
Right.
which is on Netflix, I think, but great documentary just on him.
And
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
Watching him.
Keith Richards wrote one of my favorite children's books.
Mhm.
Keith Richards, one of my favorite children's books, and I have it. It's brilliant. It's about his granddad giving him his first guitar. It's brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
What a,
really
what a
see-
great guitarist. Great guitarist.
well, and you see that in the documentary, right? Like when you watch
Yeah.
the Stones play, he's obviously a very good guitarist when he's playing with the Stones, but you even see how more multi-dimensional he is when you see
Right.
him in this documentary, and he's playing with his own guitar. He's not with the
Yeah.
Stones. He's jamming, or he's playing with a couple other people, and he sings. Yeah, he's very, very talented guy. Even though he's
Bill, that's a big deal with musicians, right? Because you get a guy like Keith Richards, he could knock you off the stage. He could knock, I mean, Mick Jagger's a force, but nonetheless, if Richards got out there and went ape shit on his guitar, he'd show everybody up. I mean, especially in his younger days, right? But the fact of the matter is, we were talking about this earlier last week. We're talking about the ego thing and removing the ego from the product, right? And you got a guy like Keith Richards, where he's playing the song. He's not playing the Keith Richard. He's playing the Rolling Stones song, right?
That's right.
And that makes the difference. It's like Steve Gadd. Steve Gadd could do a 10-minute drum solo that'll blow your freaking brains out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does he? Never. I tell you what, he's all about the groove, right?
He's about the groove. He's about the
And
groove.
it's about that groove. And you get a drummer who can get into that groove, and there's not a single other musician that'll say, I don't like that drummer because he doesn't do anything.
Right.
No, he can do lots, but it's the groove that makes that rhythm go, that drives that rhythm, right?
Mhm.
And these musicians are like that, and because they play for the group. They're not playing Keith Richards. He's not playing Stevie Gadd, right? He's playing. He's playing the band. He's playing for the band, right?
That's right.
Respect, man. Lots of respect.
And this all kind of leads to the. Sorry, Paul. I was just going to say this all kind of leads to the back to the topic, and the fact that what music does and how it brings people together, or how it can change people's lives, and the stories of people going, that song saved my life. Listening to that song, that saved my life. Or this song did this for me, or the lyrics you wrote were exactly how I was thinking, but you put it out there, or whatever, right? So what music can do to a person and or group of people and or thousands or hundreds of thousands of people at a concert, it's amazing what it does.
It's remarkable.
Any Meatloaf stories? Any Meatloaf music stories? Any Meatloaf concert stories?
I make a great bacon wrap meatloaf. It's fantastic.
I knew you were going to say it.
We never got to taste it.
I knew you were going to say
Never got
that.
to taste it.
Not my fault.
No, I don't have any.
If you've seen any pictures with, I'm sure everybody's seen pictures of Meatloaf. He's bacon wrapped too, man.
He's bacon wrapped too.
That boy was bacon wrapped.
How old was he when he died?
74.
74. Yeah, he lived a good life. He lived a good life.
Yeah, he had a good, good career. I didn't mind Meatloaf. I wasn't a huge fan, but it was okay.
And I would do.
There, and it all went quiet. Crickets.
Cricket.
I had Meatloaf tickets 25 years ago. 20 years ago, he was here. I had tickets.
I think you're late.
I don't know why I never went.
Just like we didn't have Cliff's Meatloaf, you didn't go and see Meatloaf.
I didn't go see Meatloaf. I didn't have Meatloaf.
What's your adversity to Meatloaf? Paul?
Yeah. Hey man, we all grew up with dashboard lights, right? I mean, that's the thing. And I tell you, most people that have all of the sadness over Meatloaf's passing, obviously that album Paradise was their sort of seminal growing up album.
There
right?
you go.
So
Cliff, read what Nicole just wrote.
Don't read what Nicole. Cliff, don't read what Nicole.
What? I gotta wait. Whoa, yo,
Cliff,
sometimes
don't
the
read
lyrics
what
of stories
Nicole
are going through at the
said.
time. Okay, hold on. Cliff. Meatloaf
Nicole, I'm blaming you.
Oh wait, it's Saturday. Thanks, Nicole. know. It took me some time to get there because my cheap glasses aren't working. Oh, there it is. Look right there.
And then she says Cliff Meatloaf is a Saturday event.
Thanks, Nicole. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's become kind of a
Thanks,
thing
Nicole.
Hey, man,
now.
speak-
One show.
Speaking about things like that, right? Elton John. I've seen Elton John twice. And when we saw him, I can't remember what year it was. Anyway, he was 64 years old at the time. And it was hilarious, right? He gets on there all by himself. He just comes to the piano and starts playing. And he starts playing some classical music. And he's just sitting there noodling around, just jacking around, right? For about, I bet you, 10 minutes. And slowly the audience is getting right into it. And every so often, he'll just punch those keys and go, damn it. And he was working his way toward Benny and the Jets is what he was doing, right? But he played for about 15, 20 minutes just by his lonesome. He got on there. And I tell you what, slowly the crowd, as the people are getting in and calming down, and all of a sudden, he's got the crowd right in the palm of his hand. And he has done nothing other than noodle around with some classical piano.
That's sick. That's a performer right there.
Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Let's go back to the Queen performance at Live Aid.
Oh, yeah.
And they did Radio Gaga. And
Radio
you look
Gaga.
thousands and thousands and thousands following Freddie Mercury's every move. Everything he said.
He had them eating out of the palm of his hand.
Man, these performances are seminal performances, right? I used to have an album. I wish I could have seen the concert, but I used to have a double album called Live in Paris by the Grand Supertramp. And I tell you what, if
I've got that album as well.
Do you? Oh, I love that album. If you listen to the beginning of Live in Paris, Supertramp, he starts out with, do you remember W5, the theme from W5? He starts out and oh man, on the piano, and you hear the crowd in the background, and there's a whistle here and there in the distance, and somebody yells out something in the distance, and all you hear is this beautiful piano, and it's just lightly playing, and it's slowly building. And that song builds all the way. I mean, if you don't know W5, Google it. Google the W5 theme. But Supertramp builds from there. If you haven't heard that, Podlie, try and find it, listen to it. It's the Live in Paris album at the beginning. And I tell you what, slowly he gets to the thing, and his voice is so beautiful. You know, I wish I could do that, but high voice and history recalls. Oh man, it's unbelievable. It's like goosebumps, you know?
Well, again, it shows the command that these bands can have. And again, the emotion, when you bring an audience in to your every little thing you're doing, you can play one note and the crowd just, and the crowd is just, you know, they're just vibrating, right?
Vibrates, yeah.
And speaking of vibrating, Cliff, sorry, look at the clock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the middle of the podcast. Okay, there we go. It is the middle of the podcast. But these performances, you know, some of these performances are literally seminal performances, and they will remain in history. Paul Simon, 1991, Born at the Right Time tour, Central Park. It's got like 500,000 bloody people there.
In Central Park, I remember that.
Yeah, and at the end, he does a song, and this is the concert that I saw in Edmonton as well, it's called the Born at the Right Time tour. And he does Sound of Silence. And he gets on there with his electric guitar, and he just starts noodling around with the melody, and it builds from there. And then Richard Pure, God rest his soul, he's dead now. Richard Pure gets on there on the electric guitar, and it just builds. And it is so unbelievably fantastic, the performance. It's stellar. There are no words for it. It's so good. So it's not only that these people are talented and can put out the music, but they, like you said, Bill, can hold you in the palm of their hand and just bring you right into their world. That's what a performer is.
Yeah,
that's
they
what
have a command. They have a command that's
Yeah.
Well, you know what I find very funny? Take this for what it is, guys, but music notwithstanding, Hitler had that same command. He just knew, he absolutely
a lot of leaders that have had that.
How to grab Churchill, same thing. Churchill, same thing.
Have you seen The Crown? Have you seen The Crown?
I have watched some of it. Cheryl has watched all of it.
People, if you want a clinic in actors, a lot of actors here. If you want a clinic in acting, watch John Lithgow turn into Churchill. Holy shit! It is fan-freaking-tastic. It's amazing.
He's always been good. Lithgow's always been good.
But this performance is remarkable.
And again, having said all that, notice how, it's just like us, the Podlies, how we just have our viewers just in the palm of our hand, right here.
I think it's the other way around. I think they have us in the palm of their hands. That's what I think. But Paulie, just to go back to what you were saying about how they can draw us into their world.
Yeah.
This is going to sound however you want to take it however you want to take it. But the fact of the matter is, everybody talks about, occupying space and occupying Wall Street and occupying this and occupying that. I will tell you something. If you use that phraseology to talk about yourself and say to occupy yourself, be yourself in that moment, right? And be totally wrapped up in what you are doing in that moment and completely feel that moment. I'm telling you something that translates to other people. It just does. And
try doing it without LSD, boys and girls.
If you're talented, if you're a talented musician, like so many of the people we're talking about, they can do it by just being who they are in that moment. They're not trying to act. They're not trying to be, right? I've talked about this before, acting about, I've seen so many movies where you look at the actor and it's like, they're not acting at all. They're just going through the motions, right? Yeah. Because they're not feeling it. They don't even know what they're saying. They're listening for the purpose of replying, not listening for the purpose of understanding. They're too busy trying to remember their lines or trying to make sure they get their lines right, that they're not being authentic, right? Yeah. But the moment you are your authentic self, you can take this. I know this sounds really philosophical and all that type of crap, but the fact of the matter is, if you are your authentic self, people will come into your world by default.
Yeah. No, makes complete sense. And actually, I forgot what I was going to say next.
Sorry.
No, I forgot my line.
You got right into Cliff's world right there. You forgot your own words.
I forgot my line. I mean, I got to look up our script. Line! Laura says when she went to daycare, she'd go over to the stereo system and put on Radio Gaga every morning. Poor daycare people. Thought that they maybe enjoyed it. I also loved when the daycare teachers played Roxette. Yeah. So,
Roxette. Hey, what's your favorite Roxette song? Silence. No, that's not the song.
Mine's Dangerous.
Oh, yours, Bill?
I have to think about that one, actually.
For me, best song ever. Must Have Been Love.
I knew you were going to say that. Must have been.
That song. The performance.
I was hesitating because I like Dangerous as well, but
I did, and the look is wonderful.
The look was really good, yeah.
But man, that song when she plays the piano in the video, in the actual video, Must Have Been Love, and her voice, it's killer. And the Spanish version, she sings it in Spanish too.
Oh, yeah.
And Glenda agrees with me. She says authenticity is key. Authenticity is the key that opens what, Glenda? Opens connection. Here we go. We can quote me here. Authenticity is the key that opens the door of connection. There we go.
By the way, off topic, if I may, Glenda, congratulations. You are now a superstar. Not that you weren't a superstar before, but now you are a superstar, Glenda. Congratulations.
William James Kirkland. She's got the look. Yeah.
She does. What she doesn't have is
Marie. What's her name? Passed away. I think it's Marie. Marie something passed away about 8 years ago.
Yeah,
now.
she did.
Yeah.
And Leslie Ann says elementary school before Night at the Opera was famous. We had next to the record player. Brought it to school the week before for art class. The substitute teacher put it on while we were working on crafts. The first song is Death on Two Legs. Oh my God, that brings back memories. Oh man.
Wow.
Must have been love. William was from the Pretty Woman from the Pretty Woman movie. It's on their own release. Their own
self-titled, isn't it?
No, it's called Joyride.
No, it's a song, but the album's called Joyride.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah.
So the album is called Joyride. Their release was called one of their releases was called Joyride. The other one was called Must Have Been Love. Their debut album was called The Look. Why do I know this?
Everybody knows that, Paulie. What do you mean? That was one of the most famous albums ever.
I know this. Yeah, I know, but that was 25 years ago.
Hey, sticks in the brain, dude.
Sticks in the brain. Sakes. Man,
Right,
can't
so-
remember what I had for dinner tonight, but I remember 25 years ago.
And I just pulled up the Roxettes, the albums that they made. So they had Pearls of Passion, Look Sharp, Joyride,
Oh, look sharp.
Tourism, Crash Boom Bang, Have a Nice Day, Room Service, Charm School, Traveling, and Good Karma. That was the last
Ah.
album they did in 2016.
I had no idea they had that many albums.
Me neither.
Yep.
Me neither.
So
Listen to your heart, Laura. Awesome song.
Good
Yes.
track. Yeah, that's a really good track.
Yeah, really
Very
good
nice.
track. I just
Yeah.
think they were such a great brother and sister team that you don't hear that very often. You don't see that very often. So when a group like that comes along where it's a brother and sister, you just don't expect it, and boom, it just goes nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
now, when you guys are going to see a band live, whomever that might be, what is your perfect experience? So again, what I'm saying is, if I'm going to, I don't know, see a particular band that is maybe more of a laid back style of a band where it's music that you really want to sit back and you really want to listen to every piece and every part of the songs that they're playing, or you go to the band like, Cliff, as you mentioned, going to ACDC at Commonwealth Stadium.
Oh,
That's a full out rock concert, and when you leave that concert, you're as tired as the band is.
yep.
Because so for me, I like them both. I do like the ones where you get to lay kind of, you're sitting back in your seat
Yeah.
and enjoying every little bit of morsel of what they're playing. But then when you go to those shows, that's just all out energy from beginning to end, and you walk out of that building and wherever it may be, and you're just as tired. Going, wow, I'm exhausted, but that was fun.
And it's funny because you got guys that do the both, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, you got Paul Simon's concert in 1991, the Born at the Right Time tour. Oh man, I tell you, he played the Boxer at almost the very end, and I was in second row. My cousin and I were in second row, and through the whole concert, we had these red scarves, and we were playing with these scarves and whatnot. And he must have seen us. We weren't really thinking about it, but he must have seen us and kind of watched us, enjoying the concert or whatever. And we were yelling through the whole show, "Boxer, do the Boxer, do the Boxer," because that was Daryl and my cousin and I's marquee song, right? So we're constantly yelling this through the whole bloody concert, "Boxer, do the Boxer." Anyway, finally, close to the end, he gets on there and he starts that beginning guitar, right? And then he turns and he looks directly at us, and he starts singing. Anyway, that was a sidebar story, but he was doing like he'd go through this way he'd start. He started out with Mrs. Robinson, and before you can blink, the whole stadium's up, right? And then he goes down to some ballads and whatnot, and then he comes back with Late in the Evening, and the place just went ballistic. It was like, 18,000, 19,000 people in the Coliseum, just went nuts. And he gets to the end of the song and he goes, "Oh, you guys like that, eh? Do you want to hear it again?" And the crowd goes wild. And he goes, "Okay, Steve Gadd."
Yeah.
Boom. And he plays the whole bloody song over again. I've never seen that on a concert. It was absolutely stunning.
I've never seen one. Nope.
And everybody just enjoyed the concert. And then by the time it got to the Boxer, we were all calmed down and chill. And then he ended, of course, with I can't remember what song he ended with. But so you got these guys that can do this and keep you active, or like ACDC at the stadium. There was no downtime, zero downtime, none. It's like, it's balls to the wall, whatever, 2 hours, whatever the concert was, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you, Bill. And then, I don't know, Bruce Cockburn, one of my favorite concerts. I saw
Bruce Cockburn.
I saw Bruce Cockburn at the best venue ever for a Bruce Cockburn pre Winspear was the Jube.
Right.
And I saw Bruce Cockburn at the Jubilee. Oh my God, what a concert. He's kind of a jerk, but his music is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bruce Cockburn.
Again, yeah, great. Like, I'm also a huge Foo Fighters fan.
Oh,
And they do the same thing with their David Grohl and the way they play the audience. Taylor Hawkins as a drummer, of course, was Alanis Morissette's drummer before he joined the Foo Fighters. And a band again that can take you right down. They'll slow it right down, snap it right up, and away you go. So
hey, and then I saw Garfunkel at the Winspear.
Oh, nice.
I tell you something. We had those little boxes that they have, facing the stage at an angle, right there. And Garfunkel comes on, and just the purity, the utter calm and purity of his voice is stellar, especially in the Wind Spear, man. You could hear a pin drop
Yeah.
and Garfunkel's voice just hovering over the crowd. Was a remarkable concert.
Mhm. Yeah. No, all great, great shows for sure. I'm sure all of our viewers have been to probably, different ones that they would have the same feeling. I saw
Exactly.
a comment from William. He's been to AC/DC twice, Shania Twain
Twice.
back, Bob Dylan, Aerosmith, John
Oh,
Cougar
man.
Mellencamp. I've seen everyone that you've mentioned there except for Bob Dylan.
Never saw Dylan. Never
Bob
saw
Dylan-
Rush.
I heard Bob Dylan in Edmonton. I can't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to friends of ours from Bill from yours and my other work. They went and saw Bob Dylan. They said it was the most boring concert they'd ever been to in their entire lives. Now, there's extreme Bob Dylan fans, quite frankly, and they're the ones that would absolutely love the Bob Dylan concert. But I agree. I don't think I'd enjoy a Bob Dylan concert. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, he's a storyteller, right? He's a
storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be up there bouncing around on the stage.
Yeah, they said it was the worst concert that they'd ever been to. Bob Dylan. So.
Well, I don't know. I would challenge that depending on who you are, I guess, right?
Mm.
I mean, if you take a classical music lover and send them to a Rush concert, maybe they think it's the most boring concert ever, but I would love to have seen Rush, right? So I guess to each their own. But in my mind, I think sitting and listening to Leonard Cohen or Bob Dylan, I think at a concert, let's say at the Wind Spear or whatever the case would be, I think would be fascinating.
It's context, right? It's
context. It's all contextual, right?
It's absolutely, it's all context. So,
Donna, look at what Donna says. Donna says, Cliff, thank you for Skyline Pigeon. It is now in my head forever. Donna, you're welcome. That is such an unbelievably beautiful song. I love that song. And if you ever learn to play it on the piano, do it.
Yeah. And,
It's an easy
I've seen Rush multiple times, so
Have you,
to see them, and great band live. It's amazing the sound that three guys can put out on stage.
Right, Bill?
I've missed him every time. My brother Alex was a huge Rush fan, and one of my big regrets was I never got to see Rush with him because that was
I've never been either, Cliff. Yeah,
that was one of his favorite groups. He'd seen them at least twice, and of course he always wanted me to come. And I just never quite made it, unfortunately. For some reason or another, I was traveling or whatever the case may be, but I never got to see Rush. And sadder even is that I never got to see it with him because he was such a huge Rush fan.
Yeah, and Rush, as we all know, their music is complex. It's not
so complex.
It's not simple music. So to see them live and produce on
produce
stage virtually what you hear on the album
isn't that sick? Yeah,
it's stunning, Bill. It's completely stunning. It's completely stunning.
That live, they're not. Maybe there's a slight little adjustment that they're making for the live performance, but if they are, I didn't hear it. And watching Geddy Lee and Neil and Alex play those songs, it's just wow. Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
And
you look at Pert. Pert sometimes played with a track with a click track on stage.
He did
because it was so bloody complicated. And you got like 16 different time changes in the song that it was so complicated that in all his genius, he thought that it would be better if he had a click track to make sure that everything was on time. He was a technician a wordsmith and the technician on the drums.
Well, his kit was huge, right? He was surrounded. His whole kit surrounded him. Like he was right around him. He sat right in the center of this huge drum kit, and he used every single drum that was within that.
And he would move, and he'd go, and he'd be doing
around
one track on one way, then he'd have to spin around 180 to do it. It is unbelievable.
Crazy,
it's unbelievable. So, speaking of which, Bill, I know your affinity for Rush, and I might on yours and my other initiative. I have a surprise for you in a couple of months, and I'm not telling you.
Well, don't rush it.
A couple of months. I have a surprise for you.
No rushing it. And hey, because we're talking so much about music, I'm throwing in a shameless plug here because we're all involved with the Ravenwood Music Festival. And so I just want to let our viewers know, if you haven't heard or seen it on social media, February 14th, Monday night, 7 o'clock, we're doing a live stream announcement where we're going to announce the date of the festival. we're going to announce the ticket price, and we're going to announce the lineup. There might even be a few surprises on the live stream. So we're going to live stream to our Facebook page, the Ravenwood Experience Facebook page. Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Cliff, Bill, and I will be there.
No, spoiler alert. Roxette is not going to be there.
No, I'm sorry. And Bob Dylan won't either.
Dylan won't either.
Yeah, sorry, Bob Dylan won't be there, but I think we have a really good lineup, so you're going to want to tune in on February 14th. And by the way, I threw this out there too. If any of our viewers are interested, we are ramping up for volunteers. So I know Laura actually has already approached me about that. And if there's anybody else that would like to be a volunteer at the Ravenwood Music Festival,
William,
send us a note, ravenwoodexperience@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to have you come out and give us a hand.
It's
but anyway,
a really big shoe.
A really big show. And Donna says, Cliff Linden, I'm learning a page to be playing it without errors. 1 page a day.
Cool.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah. And Donna, can you tell me what key it's in? Is it in C or is it in E flat? When you get a chance. I won't stay quiet and wait for the answer.
William says Shania puts on a great show, as well as Nickelback. John Cougar was a great show too, as well as AC/DC and Aerosmith. I did see April Wine at the Thunderdome. Wow, that brings back. I went to a show. There was three bands. Nickelback was the headliner, and I left before Nickelback because I wanted to see the first two. So I saw the first two, 3 Days Grace and Stained. And then
3 Days Grace was awesome. Stained was great.
Yeah. I saw 3 days. It was 3 Days Grace and then Stained. And then Nickelback was the headliner, and I didn't want to see Nickelback. But Stained and 3 Days Grace were unbelievable.
Excellent.
There's a band you should probably check out. I've actually been playing a couple of their songs here and there on my Saturday show on Sound Sugar Radio. If you haven't heard of them, but check them out. It's an all-girl band out of Toronto called The Beaches. And they've actually been together for since about 2014, actually. And so it's two sisters, Jordan and Kylie. Jordan is the bass player. Kylie's a guitar player. Then they have two other girls in the band, and they have a real 70s vibe to them.
Oh, nice.
And it's actually a real cool sound. So
what are they called, Bill?
The Beaches.
Beaches. Oh, cool.
The Beaches. So yeah, check them out on YouTube if you haven't already. I think they're actually coming to Edmonton in February to do a couple of shows at one of the clubs. But I just out of the blue, I can't remember how I think I had caught them. I saw a video on YouTube. They were playing halftime show or something at one of the CFL games. So they had the video. So I watched them. Well, that's not bad. So then I started checking them out further and listening to a lot of their stuff. And they're actually a cool all-girl band.
Nice.
So check those guys out if you have a chance.
Funny that you mentioned CFL halftime, because that's where I saw Shania Twain was at Grey Cup. Was at the Grey Cup halftime show. So it was all right. I'm not a Shania guy, but it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, me neither.
She looked very cold and very unimpressed is how she looked.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how she looked. Cold.
Isn't she Canadian, though?
She is.
That's from Timmins. Yeah, from Ontario.
Timmins.
Yeah, she is. And she used to be married to Mutt Lang.
Mutt Lang.
To who?
To Mutt Lang.
Big producer.
Produced AC/DC.
Big old producer.
Yeah, and he did quite a few of the AC/DC albums, but they're no longer together. So,
thanks, Donna. That's what I thought. She says it's in E flat major. So I'm procrastinating. So I'm practicing my E flat major scales. Yeah, I thought it was an E flat. Yeah. It's just that he had an old version that was in C, Donna. That's why I was asking. So,
yeah.
Hey, Laura, we went. That's right, Laura. We were at that Grey Cup. That's right. It was that Grey Cup. She looked Shania Twain looked very unimpressed, very cold, with a big old yellow jacket on her. She's only about 5'2", right? So,
Shania.
What's that song she has? Man, you make me feel like a woman or something. What was that?
Yeah, she got a lot of the big country hits.
There's a lot of them.
Big in the 80s and 90s.
Man, something. Woman.
Now she's in Vegas. She does a Vegas show every night.
Yeah. Same as Celine Dion, right?
Celine Dion.
Yeah, she started the note here in Canada, and then she's holding it all the way in Vegas.
Leon's going on a world tour again.
Yeah.
So I think she's booked for Edmonton sometime this year.
Yeah. I think her and Mariah Carey share lungs. Is when no, they do, because when Celine sings, Mariah lends her some lungs, and then when Mariah sings, Celine lends her some lungs. That's the only reason they can hold a note that long. I mean, it's impossible otherwise.
That must be what they do. I'm not sure.
Yep.
So Celine will be on tour, and I know she is booked for Edmonton.
I will not be there.
I won't either.
I'm not going to be there either. won't be at that show. Sorry.
Nope.
I will not be at that show.
I'm one of the last people that you could consider a Celine fan.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Don't get me wrong. She's a gargantuan talent. Just not my bag of tricks.
Not my cup of tea.
Nope.
Um,
William
Suffragettes.
says, what does he say? If you like venture style music, check out the Suffragettes.
What is venture style music?
That's more like
I guess that's
California Ventures.
like a 60s surfer kind of music. Like,
Okay, there you go.
along the style of a Beach Boys or something like that, I think.
All right, there you go.
Ventura Highway.
Yeah. Which show? My friend Jeff and I will try and go to that show. LOL. Which? I'm sorry, I'm lost. What show were we talking about, Laura?
Probably the show that the three of us will not be there.
Yeah, Celine.
Yeah, you won't see the Podlies there.
Won't see us. Won't see us.
Unless we've all had gone and had quite a few drinks before that show.
Laura,
show up in the front row.
Laura. Sorry, I'm going to break your heart. The ship sinks, Laura.
It's called the Titanic.
Sorry, Laura. The ship sinks.
It's called the Titanic.
Yeah, so. William confirms your theory, Bill. It's California 60s style.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so you guys are big Beach Boys fans, right?
Me, I'm not. I like some of it. I'm not a huge Beach Boys fan.
You know, can I tell you, Cliff? and arguably the Beach Boys album Pet Sounds is arguably the best album of all time. I just listened to Pet Sounds 2 weeks ago.
Dude,
I beg to differ on that.
I beg to differ.
Okay. Okay. So it is. It's arguably a lot of people say that it is one of the best albums of all time.
As we said, right?
It's the White Album, Revolver, Pet Sounds, this and that, the other thing. Okay. So here's the thing. It's a good album, not a great album. I agree with you. It's a good album.
I'm really not a Beach Boys fan, so
it's a good album. I don't know. I don't know why they call it the best. Is it in the production? Is it? I don't know. It's a good album. It's not a great album.
Other people call Steely Dan's Aja one of the best albums. Okay. Let me tell you something. And it is. It's freaking amazing. The album is amazing, but not everybody would consider it a best album category, right? What about Queen, Night at the Opera? A lot of people say that.
Night at the Opera, right? Brothers in Arms, Dire Straits.
Brothers in Arms, right? Dire Straits. So there's a lot. I guess everyone teach their own, but I don't know that anybody can title an album best of the century and blah blah blah. And
it's so hard, right? It's everybody.
So difficult.
It's everybody's opinion and thought, right? So, and just quickly, because we only have about a minute and a half, guys. So Andrea, and she says Linkin Park is one of the main bands that I listened to as a teen and young adult. I'd work out to Linkin Park and I'd feel better about myself. Linkin Park has definitely helped my mental health and in my down moments. That's really cool. Yeah.
Great comment, Andrea. Yep, absolutely. Linkin Park's a great group. I don't know terrible much of their music, but what I do know, I really like.
I enjoyed Linkin Park as well. So, Cliff, we got to wrap this up here pretty quick.
Look at that, eh? We've had some good interaction, some good fun, and some good teasing, and some good everything. This podcast is wonderful to talk about music and all that type of jazz. Listen, you guys, Monday, must listen Monday. It wouldn't be the same without you. I tell you this every single week, how much we absolutely appreciate you being here and joining in and having a chat with us and letting us torture you and vice versa. So we appreciate that. And listen, if you haven't shared this podcast in a while, this could be a good time to do it. And if you share via Messenger, because you get a little bit better response because it's slightly more personal. So share it if you can. Number 2, try and bring somebody with you next Monday to watch it. The more the merrier. We'll have some fun, etc., etc., etc. And if you're listening live, that's awesome. If you're listening later, Mr. Bill,
can listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts. So
Spotify,
iHeartRadio, all of those places, we are there. So you can tune in and grab it anytime you like. All right, guys.
Here is my challenge for everybody listening to us next week. You have to bring one friend next week to MLM on the Podlie podcast. You have to bring one friend to listen for the hour next week.
Awesome.
That's my challenge.
I think I'll bring Cliff and Paul.
That's 2.
The only friend I have is already on the show. So,
but you know what? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you all next week. See ya.
Be safe, everybody, will you?